In problem number 40, we are not going to do A, I'm going to do B, and you are going to do C. So, given the information that cosine is 1/4 and that the theta, the angle, is in the fourth quadrant, find the exact value of of that expression there. So, first thing we want to do is build our triangle like we always do. Cosine is equal to the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. Again, theta is tucked right there in the fourth quadrant. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Now, think about this. We have 1 squared plus b squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 1 squared, which is 1, plus b squared is equal to 4 squared, which is 16. When we subtract 1 from both sides, we get b squared equals 15. And b, therefore, would have to equal the square root of 15. When we take the square root of both sides, we get b by itself equals the square root of 15. But we are going to write that down as a negative number, indicating that 1 comma negative rad 15 would be the coordinates of that point right there. Okay, now we're ready to express or to figure out how to simplify the sine of theta minus pi over 6. So sine of theta minus pi over 6. Now don't think that you can just write sine of theta minus sine of pi over 6. Okay, you have to use the formula. That's the sine of theta times the sine of pi over 6 minus the oops, I made a mistake. Sine of theta times the cosine of pi over 6. Going off of memory, and I did not remember that very well. So sine of alpha minus beta, sine cosine minus cosine sine. Yep. So just double checking. Sine cosine minus cosine of alpha, or theta, times the sine of pi over 6. Now, sometimes this can be, I don't know, a little bit confusing when you mix a well-known angle with just theta, but we already know that the cosine of pi over 6 is always rad 3 over 2. Okay, sine of pi over 6 is always 1/2. So those go in there, but then we have to substitute in sine of theta. So sine of theta is the opposite leg over hypotenuse, and the opposite leg is negative rad 15. Hypotenuse is 4. And then we have this minus here. And the cosine of theta, again, is just 1 over 4. So 1/4 there. And how do we write this? We would write this as negative radical 45. Now, if you want to, you can, if you know that that's 3 radical 5, that's fine. If you want to write the radical 15 as radical 3 times radical 5, or you just combine them and then deal with it later. You have negative radical 45 over 8 minus 1 over 8. That's why I didn't cancel anything, because I want to keep that denominator the same. And then radical 45 can be simplified to 3 radical 5. So we have negative 3 rad 5 minus 1 all over 8. Now, your job is to do part C. You know, I'm not going to have you do part C. There's already been so many examples. I'll leave the check your understanding problems for that. I do want to get to these problems over here. I'll do one last video for those.